picture. It looks good.
Yeah. The system is pretty nice. We're live.
All right.
So, hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. Today's guest is Rob Garcia. Me and Rob go way back. He's another guy that we go back to the Sunshine Suites.
That's
Henny, right? Yeah. You're another one. So I had another guy. I doubt you remember him, but on Monday I interviewed this guy named Felix. He was at Sunshine too. So Rob, I met Rob probably 2014-ish or 13. No. Did I meet you in Sunshine Downtown, right? Did I meet you back then?
Sunshine Downtown.
Yeah.
And then you also made a move up to the when I was helping Henny out with Bronx Business Incubator.
Yes. So we were working on advertising inside of the incubator, and you were the main guy selling those ad spaces. I remember that. Yeah. Rob comes from I guess tell them what you do, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, my background is mostly in events and promotions. I started back in the day, early 90s, doing club promotions in New York City. We did a lot of the big clubs with my friends back then, so it was always around events. And then late 90s, I got involved with, daytime shows. I went from, nighttime, working at night, and then during the day sleeping, to reversing that to working during the day and sleeping at night, which is a good thing for
nice.
Longevity purposes. And I got involved with building on trade shows and conferences, across the U.S., doing a lot of different things across various platforms. Working in events in fashion, as well as technology and finance and environmental, all across the board, and basically selling sponsorships into a lot of these shows, and I've been doing that ever since. In between then, I did some economic development work with some cities back in 2014, 15, 16, where I was working with a specific company that was doing producing events with cities where the city owned the show. And then I was involved with bringing in companies to the events and then working with their economic development people, as well as their chamber, to then have those companies either set up a satellite office in those cities, or move headquarters into those cities. Because cities, if you're not aware, they compete with each other like corporations do. They're always vying for more business professionals to come to their cities. Kind of like what all these cities were trying to get Amazon to set up shop.
Yep.
They were all competing for that kind of business, because it's big business for cities, bringing in smarter people, more technology. So I did that for a while, which is actually an interesting work, because I was working at the state level as well as the city level with a lot of the business leaders. So that's what I've been doing for ever since. And over the last few years, I've been working on specific shows related to cybersecurity, defense sector work, government work, and some luxury work.
So it's pretty interesting. Like I've been on a lot of things over the last few weeks. One thing I've been noticing is the transition of military to cybersecurity. Like a lot of people that come out of the military, they're going into cybersecurity and cloud and tech stuff. So I know you do that for your conferences. But one of the things that I thought about in having you on is we're in Corona, right? We're in this new normal. What happens in the industry of conferences? I literally was supposed to be at a conference next week in Ireland. I was going to get paid to speak. They were going to fly me out. Conference over. But now, they reached out yesterday. They're going to do it online.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the future of conferences now that this is a thing?
I mean, it's taken a big hit, I mean, globally. This is kind of turning a lot of industries upside down at the moment. The events world is obviously something that is at a total stop. You can't go to events. I don't know what's going on globally in different cities and different countries, but in the U.S., most cities you can't really congregate and have more than, I think, 10 people now.
Not even, yeah.
So at the moment, what we had to do, with the company that I'm working with right now, we were scheduled to produce about 50 shows this year across different industries.
Like one a week?
It's a lot. It's one every few weeks, right?
Yeah.
And some on top of each other. And we had to postpone all the shows we had scheduled for March, April, May, and June. and July. We're postponing it to later in the year, starting
hopefully we're out of
August, going into December, with a couple that we are going to postpone into 2021. And then at the same time, while postponing and finding new dates, because it's complicated, because we put down payments for for all these hotels, and then when you want to make switches, when you want to switch dates, they want to charge you, like switch fees, 10,000, 15,000. One company wanted to keep 40,000. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God!
But we're able to convince them to change it without penalties because of what's going on. Because then we threatened to call, corporate, and because some of these hotels are looking at Marriott hotels, Westin, Hilton, so they don't want bad publicity, right? So they work with us and we switched, which is good. In the interim, we had to figure out what to do on the virtual side. So, because if we can't sell into our shows right now, because no one wants to go to events, what do we do? So we ramped up, and through one of our partners on the defense sector side, we created virtual recruiting events for the defense government space, which we're launching, where there's one today, starting today from noon until 5. And we have another one in May. And that's worked out really well. We have a lot of companies that have actually jumped on board.
So that's online, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's online. It's a virtual platform. You can do real-time chatting and video conferencing. We have.
What's the link? What's the link? I can send people if somebody, because I have a lot of military friends. They maybe live for work.
Yeah, go to techexpousa.com and the event's listed there. TECHEXPO USA.com. Definitely, if you have military friends that have security clearances, that's what it's about.
Yeah,
the event. So we have a lot of really great companies on board for that. We have, I'll tell you right now, companies such as. Hold on a second here. Let me pull this up. So if you go to Tech Expo, TECHEXPOUSA.com.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull it up and we could share screen while we talk.
Yeah. Go to events. You'll notice the event for today. It starts at noon, and it's a national event. Most of the people that are going to be attending will be from the DC area, because that's a big defense government hub. But we have a lot of great employers. AWS, Boeing. We have Bechtel, L3 Harris. We have Salesforce, LexisNexis. So these are really good. This is a really good event. Booz Allen as well, Ball Aerospace, and they're all hiring for mostly IT, engineering, and cybersecurity professionals that have high levels of security clearance. So it's either a CI, counterintelligence polygraph, or a full scope lifestyle polygraph, which is the highest level that you can get to work, within government and defense.
So okay, I'm looking at the upcoming events. Is this one April 22nd?
Yeah, the 22nd. That's today. Yeah. So that's the one today is for the highest level security clearance you can have. Then the one in May that we're doing is for top secret clearance to as high as a full scope. So.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna pass this. I definitely have some family members and friends that have like government clearance. They came from the military.
Oh yeah.
And then like I've been on a few different shows recently, and a lot of people in the military, they end up going into this route. It makes sense. It's the future of work.
Yeah, so that's one show that we converted into virtual, and believe it or not, it's kind of saving our ass right now, because we didn't have this virtual platform, we wouldn't be able to sell anything. And we're not a big company, we're small. We're like 10 people, but we provide a really good service. So right now, through this platform, we have employers that are connecting with people that are looking for jobs in the defense space, government space. So it's a good thing to do for that industry.
So I have a question, because different people watch. What if I'm not from the military? Can I still go to this, or do I have to come from the military?
You have to have a clearance.
You have to have a
security clearance. To have a security clearance, you have to be, number one, you have to be a U.S. citizen. And then you have to have gone through a clearance that you were sponsored by a government agency or a defense contractor that sponsors you and pays money to get you cleared for specific contracts that they're awarded. So you have to go through tests, right? So they have the secret clearance is the lowest, which can take a few months, to a full scope lifestyle polygraph. When you get that cleared, it could take a couple of years these days to get cleared for that.
So what does that mean? That means like they ask you about your lifestyle on a polygraph test?
They call your parents, your friends from college, so
Whoa.
kind of, just to see who you are, because those cleared,
Wow.
that level of clearance gets you to work,
Pentagon.
at the NSA, the White House. You have to go through some serious background checks and pass a polygraph test. So they polygraph test you.
Yeah, that's yeah. They literally
ask you questions about, hey, have you done drugs? They ask you, have you ever gotten arrested? And then if you, it's and for that, it's not about saying no to it. It's about just being honest, And if you did get arrested, I got arrested. What happened? I did drugs. I smoked weed in college.
Yeah. It's more about how you react.
You're honest. I want to know that you're an honest person, And
exactly.
And then they after they ask you all these questions, then they then interview people from your past to see if those stories jive and it's legit. And it's complicated. It can be, a while.
It makes sense. It makes sense though. I mean, it's an important job. They gotta make sure you are who you say you are. So all right. So me and you, we've had many discussions about innovating in the conference world. Have you seen anything yet? Or is there anything that you guys have been like, I know me and you, we've spoken a lot about VR in the conference space, right? Yeah. Have you seen anything yet? Knowing like this is probably the best time ever?
Not yet. I mean, right now, everyone, I don't know how long this Corona thing's gonna last. Everything's still up in the air. Mm-hmm. It could last, another year and a half, 2 years, who knows?
They already canceled. They already canceled all celebrity performances and stuff, like concerts and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're gonna cancel sports. So yeah, being in a big room with a bunch of people, it might be while before that happens.
It's gonna be tough. So the virtual platforms that I see happening in the future, just to fight against something like this, because even if once we get through this crisis, is it going to happen again? Is there going to be another deadly virus down the road? It's very possible. Could it be deadlier? It's very possible. So I think there's a big future in the virtual world in respect to more virtual events, maybe more virtual events related to VR and AI, where you could actually put on your goggles, your Oculus goggles, and all of a sudden you're in this virtual world.
I think it's the way to go anyway. To be honest, I've always thought there's a limitation to the old model of how many people fit in the space, right? Yeah. Versus literally anybody anywhere in the world can drop into your conference if it's digital. Like, of course, there's trade-offs, but to me as a business, idea, don't you want the more bodies that, like, even if you make $1 off 1 million people, it's better than making $100 off 100 people, so that's kind of where I'm always like, and I was actually talking to a company that was looking at doing that. They kind of pivoted. I was talking to you about them. They pivoted, so that's why I haven't hit you back, but I think there's a huge opportunity for that, and I'm still trying to push that agenda. I'm thinking like, working with them on a side thing, but I just got too much stuff going on. Maybe it makes sense for you and them to work together on that. And I'll be about whoever I can, because I mean, these guys have a system similar like what we're on right now, where you can be through the browser, talking to people and being online. And so, the idea was, doing something like that for conferences, but it takes some time. So, all right.
The thing I can tell you about that is, just to finish my thought about it, is that this is a really good test for the virtual world, AI world, because you have a lot of companies, a lot of business leaders, owners of corporations, entrepreneurs that are like, no, I'm not doing anything virtual. No, I don't believe in telecommuting. No. I want you in the office. I want you commuting. I want you taking the train. I want you driving. I want you traveling. And now everyone's like, wait a minute, we could actually do business this way. Like, you don't have to travel, and go meet people to conduct big business anymore. You could actually do it now because it's happening. It's happening. So it's going to change the whole landscape. Where all of a sudden, a lot of money is going to flow into virtual platforms and into more of a, stay-at-home working economy, because why not?
Yeah, I agree. So it's hilarious, but both of our friends and my mentor, Henny was the one who put me on this path, actually, because when I moved the company from Manhattan to the Bronx, I couldn't get anybody to come up to the Bronx.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to come. So Henny, and I'm like, look, Henny, I think I got to go back downtown because I just got this big contract and no developers or anybody wants to come and work for me up here. And he's like, this is the opportunity for you to learn how to do this remote.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's like, I'm telling you that if you figure this out, you'll be prepared for the, and I was like, all right, let me try it. And I did. I've been doing this remote thing forever.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And now the whole world is seeing like, you don't need to go to an office every day. And I know a lot of people, you know, like you said, old school mentality. No, you got to be here. I don't know what you're doing. I need to make sure I understand what you're doing. There's ways to make sure you understand what people are getting done without having to see them in the office. Yeah. And if they're not getting their stuff done, you fire them, you know?
You know, what's interesting is I've been working remotely since 2000. I'll tell you when. 2009, 2010 is when I started working remotely, where I moved up to Westchester in 2001 from New York City, and the commute was killing me. And I was like, you know what, I don't need to be in the city.
Yeah.
You know, I started working remotely, where I started only going into the city like twice a week to meet with my team. And then I'd work from home. What I noticed when I was working from home is that I was actually had a lot less distractions. Because when you're in the city, a lot of times around a lot of people come up to your desk, and you go to to get some water. There's someone there to talk to, and then someone says, "Hey, you want to get lunch?" And next thing you know, you go out to lunch, and it's an hour later. You come back,
sure,
and then,
whole day's gone.
You're talking to someone at the elevator, and then before you know it, you're there for 8, 9, 10 hours, but you only got like 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And what I noticed when
100%.
I was home, I would actually get a lot more work done, where I would be focused, and there was no one here to take me off focus. And then the day would fly by because I'd just be like focused, right? And then I'd be like, holy crap, like 8 hours just flew by. I got so much more work done. And so I've been working remotely now for since then. And it's always worked out well for me. So it's good to see that people are doing it now, because you can get it done, but it's all a matter of here, right? There are those people that have the discipline to get it done this way, and there are those that don't.
100%.
Those are kind of like, I'm just gonna like maybe do a little bit of work. I'm gonna go hang out on the couch and watch TV. You can't do that. You put on your blinders, you put on your computer, you start going to work, and you don't stop until your work's done. That's what I do personally. So I've been, you know, I'm for it, but it's not for everyone. I gotta tell you, you have to be really disciplined.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm the same way. I've been freelancing and doing things like that for many, many years. It really takes, it makes you more productive. Even when I had the Sunshine Suites, to be honest, like I really couldn't get a lot of work done until most of the office left, because it was the same idea you're saying. I would be there and people walk up to you, talk, you know, and you're in meetings, and then you don't really get work done. So I would stay home to get work done, you know, and you know, it definitely takes a mentality that not everybody has, right? A lot of people would tell me, I don't know how you do that. I can't do that. And right now there is a little bit of a curveball with your whole family being home now. Like I got kids at home and stuff. So it makes it a little harder to work from home. You gotta like lock yourself away. But I definitely think there's this new like remote life that people like me and you have been living, that now the whole world kind of sees the good parts of this. Like if we could start integrating more of this, maybe kids don't have to go to school every single day. You know, maybe there's a day where the parents could stay home with them, you know, once a week. Stuff like that can start to be implemented, because now, shit, we've been doing it for 3 months. You know, why not make it? And it'll help. I think it'll help. Like more time with your kids, more time, you know, together. But at the same time, that commute, like you said, man, like such a waste of time.
Yeah, for me, commuting from where I live in Upper Westchester, New York City, my office, door to door, it's an hour and 40, sometimes 2 hours. That's almost 4 hours a day that I could be. You know,
nuts. Yeah, ridiculous. That's crazy.
I only do it like twice a week. You know, I go in Manhattan, but when we were doing our shows, I would travel a lot for work though. So So that's the balance, right? So I'm able to work from home, which is great, but then I travel for my business, so that kind of like changes things up for me a bit, which is good.
Sure.
I feel I'm blessed to be able to do that, but I can't travel for a while, so
Sure.
what happens.
Yeah. But I think I think right now the conference industry is really at one of the most innovative times. What comes out of it is going to be super interesting. Like I've hosted panels. I've hosted panels in conferences like in Texas and stuff like that. So like I've seen like industry is starting to like be okay with remote. The big thing is right now, the thing in May, I think it's May 7th, they're asking me to present for an hour, I think. And that's going to be tough. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Because normally, you're on stage, you have your presentation. That's going to be super interesting, but I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing how it works.
What platform is that? What is it? For an hour?
I don't know yet. I don't know if they're going to use Zoom or something like that. It's going to be for an AR VR conference that's usually in Ireland. So it's going to be like 7 a.m. I'll be on.
Yeah,
but
an hour is a long time.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Actually, one of our other shows, which is a cybersecurity event, we created a thing called the Cyber Summit Virtual Power Hours. So it's like an hour and a half where we launch it with like someone from the FBI for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They have a sponsor that speaks for like 20, 25, and then we have a Q&A. Then we have another sponsor that speaks for like 20, 25 with a Q&A. And then we close it off with someone else from the either the U.S. Secret Service or DOJ. Bang, 1.5 hours done. And then we invite a lot of C-suite, V-suite, director level. We feel for everyone's attention span, that's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
To have sit there and listen to one person speak for an hour is tough.
Yep.
I think 20-minute increments is good. Boom, here's someone new. Boom, here's someone new. And for executives, because they're busy too. They don't have time to sit there for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours listening to one person or even being part of a virtual conference. So we've gotten a lot of good response for these power hours that we're doing. You can check it out by going to Cyber Summit. Go to cybersummitusa.com. That's another one of our events.
All right, I'm gonna put it up.
Yeah,
cybersummit.us. Oh, us.com.
cybersummitusa.com. Yeah.
All right, got it.
So that one, we are doing our first round of events in May regionally. So we're hitting a lot of different regions. We're doing them in June as well, and I think July. And we might have we'll have 2 sponsors per region, and then we'll have 250 to 500 attendees. With 4 guest speakers within that hour and a half. So different model, different way of doing it. And I think we're going to do it through WebEx.
Oh yeah. So people, you like WebEx? I mean, all these platforms right now, Zoom and all them, the internet is taking a hit, right? Like even right now, I'm right close to my modem. I have Verizon Fios. I'm supposed to have 1,000 megabytes per second, and I'm still getting like choppiness, right? So, the internet overall is just taking a hit everywhere. But I believe, this is a time where the innovation is just going to explode. I mean, we have a lot of conversations about it. Yeah. So I would like, from your experience, what is some of the things that you would give advice to a person that's trying to put on a conference right now? Like what maybe some ideas that, I want to put on a conference right now. You have many years of experience. What would you tell them?
I mean, in this landscape right now, conference?
Yeah.
I would say wait.
Wait till it's done.
See what's going on with this crisis, but if we can come out of this in the next few months where we can all congregate and in groups again, do start small. I think the big conferences right now for a while are done.
Yeah. See, so we were talking to so when I was dealing with that other company that was trying to do the online conferences, they were talking to NAB. You remember? Have you ever heard of NAB?
Sounds familiar.
It's like one of the biggest in Vegas. It's like a National Association for Broadcasting.
Yeah.
So I went and I spoke at that conference a few years ago.
Yeah.
Huge like the entire
They're
city.
done. They're done. No one's going to go to those anymore.
Exactly.
What's good about, you know, for anyone that's going to start in the events business, focus on small, controllable, and also being very targeted. So if you have a specific target audience that you want there for your client base, you know, focus on that target audience. And that it's not about getting a lot of people now, just getting a lot of the right people. So for our shows, for example, our cyber summits, which we postponed, we were getting about 700 to 1,000 registrations for each city, with about, I'd say, 350 to 500 in attendance, because not everybody shows up at a one-day conference, right? And that's pretty good. Now looking into the ones that we postponed until later, you know, if we get 700 to 1,000 registrations, we're gonna be very picky about who we allow in now. You know, so we're gonna cut that down to like maybe 300 max. So if you have 1,000 registrations and it's only 300 quality, I'm only gonna tell 300 quality to come, and the rest I'm just gonna be like, sorry, you can't make it, you don't fit the mold, right? Nice. But now it's not going to be about getting as many people. It's just getting more of the right people, and then that way it's more controlled. It's less people at my conference. We're going to allow maybe 40 sponsors max. You know,
and this is online, or you mean in person?
Physical,
this is going to be online.
Physical. You know, you asked me for someone that's going to be involved with the events business, what the route should be right now based on the current landscape. Small, controllable. You can control who you want in and who you want out.
But I guess I mean like in right now, like, can you do something now? Right? Like all these people are doing digital, like what?
Only digitally right now.
And what advice would you give anybody trying to make a digital conference right now?
Digital conference, the same way you want to build a physical one, but just use a digital platform to just connect people. It could be in the style of a TED Talk kind of style. It could be in the style of where you have a more advanced virtual platform where people log on and they see different rooms and they click on different rooms that have different speakers. That exists as well. We're actually looking into that also. Yeah, this is all new to us too, by the way, Miguel. You know, we just got thrown into this, so we really did virtual conferences until right now, and we've been working really hard the last few weeks to create something for our client base, and thank God we're doing it.
So I'm going to tell you some of the ideas I had, because I'm not the type of person to worry about people stealing ideas. Let them. I want this to happen. So you know, maybe you end up being the one that does it with that other partner, and maybe I'm helping in some way. What I wanted to do was I wanted to create a conference where anybody can come to the conference for free, but there's levels to how much access you get, right? So if you want, there's certain things that anybody in the whole world could come and watch, like the keynote, right? Let people come in and watch the keynote. But then there's rooms, there's free rooms, and there's rooms that cost $1, or if you pay $50, you have access to all the rooms, stuff like that, right? And then there's even vendors, right? The vendors, you know how you have the floors where most of the conferences make their money is on those, like the floor where people are paying for a table, right?
Right.
So what I was thinking is, imagine there's a virtual version of that where people can come in and talk to you. Like you have a room like this where people jump in and want to talk to this vendor and say, what do you do?
Yeah, that exists. That exists.
And they're paying for that. You know, what platform is doing that? Do you know?
There's a few. I know we're looking at one called Six Connects. There's another one called, well, let me look here. I think it's called, bear with me, because this is all new to us too, so I'm learning. I think it Engages is another one. Engages. You know, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it. My team members have looked into it, but some of this stuff has been around for a while, because I know I looked into one a while back in 2011 called Virtua Connects, where you go into different rooms, right? And then you can there's tables, virtual, like it's not with goggles, but it's on the desktop. Sure. Then you get on different rooms where people are, and you can connect with them, and then you can start chatting with them. That's been around for a while, but I think the more advanced version of everything will be through Oculus goggles, you know, through real VR. That's going to be really cool. You can actually put the things on, look around, and be like, oh, there's someone there, and then you start talking to them, you know. And oh, you can go into this room and you can walk towards this room. You open the room and then there's people there. There's different tables, like a virtual table. You can actually see it. I think that's going to be the future. Kind of like, and then, I mean, we're headed towards what Steven Spielberg. You know, like what's
the metaverse. The metaverse, they're calling it. Basically, it's basic. You know who's working on it?
He made a movie about it. It's called Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. No.
Future. I'm telling you, that's happening.
And this basically this time is we have a lot of conversations about the future, right? Me and you. But to me, this is kind of putting us in a snapshot, even if it's a long snapshot, of where this is going. Like I believe there's going to be a lot less jobs in like a little bit of time. Like, you know, automation is going to take over a lot of things, and people are going to be at home. And I'm not sure what the landscape is for work once a lot of jobs are automated. Like, who the hell knows? So I believe things like we're talking about conferences online, education online, all this stuff is going to be super, super needed, right? And I'm not saying it's going to happen in 5 years, maybe 20 years, but we're still going to be around for that. And our kids are definitely going to be around for it. So what I believe right now, we have a huge opportunity to really learn from this time and like really remember how this was, so we can design situations around it as entrepreneurs. Like me as an entrepreneur, I'm saying, okay, there couldn't be a better opportunity to see the future than right now. Let me live in it and like look at all the opportunities, gather as much of them as possible, and figure out where to attack. And that's part of why I created the show, to be honest. I want to talk to everybody I can. I want to do it in public because I want people to watch and hit me up like, I like what you were talking about with Rob. What if we did this? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we have great conversations, but nobody else hears them. And then nobody else can be a part of them. Like we had a great conversation about virtualizing the car industry. Remember the car events industry? We talked about that for about making VR car conferences. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So like,
you put the goggles on and then you can see the cars. Yeah.
You go around the cars, right? So we had that conversation. I don't know how many years ago at this point. It was a while ago. Mm-hmm. And now, who wouldn't do that? Like, if you're home and you got VR goggles, you would go to a car show if it was free, and if there was levels where you can pay, you would.
Yeah. Right now, I think the issue also is like everyone's getting hit with so many virtual things. It's a matter of how do you attracting attention. What's the message to get them to click on and not delete, right? Because I get it. I'm getting a gazillion emails right now. Hey, go to this virtual thing. Go to this web conference. Go to this webinar, and I'm just like delete. So what the message has to be targeted towards what it is that interests you, right? And
100%
attention.
100%. But that's going to be the case from now forever. From now until forever, right? Our social media platforms are now trying to cater our feeds to stuff that interests us, right? So it's going to be the same idea, right? You're just going to have to figure out your niche and say, all right, I'm going to go after the car guy that really is or girl that's really interested in exotics. So I'm going to make content in social media about exotics, and then they're going to watch it, and then say, come see it in VR. Now I'm interested. I'm going to click for that instead of, hoping that I see an email and then I get in it, right? I want this, so I'm going for it. So that's where I think all of this is going. And I think part of where I see opportunity is every industry that has a conference. And you know what? You just reminded me. There was a girl that worked with us at Sunshine, and not AOC, because Rob was another one. Rob worked with AOC as well.
Briefly, we did a little stint with AOC, with Penny, you and me, and AOC. We're trying to build. It was called Gauge Strategies. Remember?
Yep.
Strategies. Didn't work out as well, but she was like 21 back then. She was so young.
Yeah.
I never saw that coming.
I know, right? How crazy is that, right?
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. I always knew she was super smart, but I would have never, politics is something that
was really amazing.
But
it's an amazing ride to see her grow like that so quickly.
You reminded me of this woman that worked there that she used to put on conferences. So I'm gonna see if I get her on the show too. She basically put on the first ever gaming conference, or she was part of it. the E3 thing.
Yeah.
She was part of it, her and a few people or something like that. And now she does conferences for different things, but she makes like conferences make so much money. That's the thing about conferences.
Yeah. Some of them can make a lot of money, definitely.
So that industry is at a crossroads that I believe this is a great time to be in that industry.
I think that, you know, after this crisis gets under control, it's going to be more of a hybrid. You know, right now it's hyper virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's virtual right now. I think we're going to go back to physical conferences, but it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more of a.
How do you see that? When you come back, let's say, however long this is, let's hopefully like 6 months we're back to normal.
How do you see the hybrid thing going?
Yeah, how do you see the hybrid thing going?
Like, for example, let's take my show, for example. Prior to this situation, it was physical. To be at my show, to watch the speakers and to learn, you have to go to my event, right? Mm-hmm. Now in the future, I think you can go to my event if you want to be there, or if you want to learn, maybe we incorporate the virtual platform where we have cameras at the show. Mm-hmm. We're filming the speakers in real time. You can watch. Mm-hmm. And maybe in real time you can participate as well. If you have any questions, we'll monitor the chatting. Mm-hmm. Any questions submitted from someone virtually. I mean, we'll have. If it's a good question, we'll take the question, and it comes from a virtual person that's watching from different part of the world. So maybe it becomes more of a global event, because we've been doing localized events. Like when we do shows, it's more local to that specific city, and our region. So maybe now it's just more of a global event for us. You know, I don't know.
Makes sense. Like people willing to commute to move if the opportunity is right, right? So
yeah, and if there's a speaker that we want speaking at our show that just can't be there because he just can't be there, but he can be there virtually, maybe we'll have him be there virtually. So we'll have a huge screen. And people can sit down that are there physically, and then you would turn the screen on, and then he delivers the message virtually, right, to the audience. So there's different ways to play around with it where it becomes more of a hybrid. And I think that's probably what we need to do.
So what I really liked about when we were talking about the conference thing that I was trying to work on, the idea of still being able to network, even though you're remote, right? So that's a big part of conferences, right? You go to meet people, talk to people, but how does that happen in a virtual conference right now? Have you seen anything right now? Have you been on anywhere people can network, even just the people at the conference? Have you seen that?
What do you mean network?
So like just talk to people. You know how you go to a conference, you walk around, you see someone that has a tag, you're like, oh, what company are you from?
What we're building right now, people are networking. The virtual stuff that we're doing. You know, like for example, this event that's launching at noon today for the cleared industry, we are creating a platform, a situation where employers are going to connect with job seekers, and they're going to be chatting in real time and video conferencing, and they're going to be networking so that company can hire and a person can get a job.
Sure.
And then with the Cyber Summits, when we launch the Power Hours, we're going to do a presentation and people can submit questions. And then prior to the event, the sponsors get to listen to their register and post show as well. And then they can network and build on business together afterwards, right? So for that specific event, it's about the solution provider connecting with an executive that wants to buy the product to better protect their enterprise from cyber attacks. So that's one way but they're all networking together, all building. It's about still creating that link so they can build together.
I guess I'm more mean from, instead of employer to employee possible, I mean employee to employee. Like, is there anything, have you seen anything where it's like, let's say me and you were at the conference, but we're both looking for jobs. Is there anything where me and you can network? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. I get it. I mean, on the physical event portion of it, we're actually in the process of building an app that allows you to do that. Mm-hmm. So if I have the app at my show and you have the app at my show, we created this thing where if I'm near you, you shake your phone, I shake my phone, and then it sends our business card.
Sure.
Without having to exchange business cards. And there's going to be a way for delegates, we call them delegates, the attendees, to connect with each other through the app as well.
And delegates mean they paid a certain level, basically, right? They're a certain level.
It's just another word for attendees. We call delegates kind of like the senior level person that works at a large enterprise is a delegate. Just another word.
Cool. So this is the part of the show. In the last 20 minutes, I try to figure out with the person who's on, what are they looking for after this, or what are they working on now, and what kind of help do they need? Like if there's any type of thing that you're trying to do right now that you're looking for people or whatever, yeah, I would like to know. Is there anything you're working on? I know we've spoken about some music stuff. I don't know if you want to get into that, but what kind of stuff are you working on that maybe you maybe need some help with?
Well, I mean, prior to the Corona thing, one of the other projects I was working on, we'll do the music thing briefly, was through a buddy of mine, we are going to launch a record label to rep an artist out of DR, reggaeton artist, which you have some experience in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that got put on hold for now because we were going to go down to film our first music video end of March, and of course, you know, we couldn't make it down there. But that's on hold for now until we can start traveling. You know, once we get out of this crisis, figuring out not even because we're out of it right now, we're trying to figure out what is the best virtual technology that we could use to really enhance the events that we produce.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this is going to last for the next year, I don't know if we're going to hold our physical events in the fall.
Yeah,
I just don't know. If all of a sudden, there's another wave of coronavirus.
I actually would bet that it's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know, right?
Because they're showing like the Spanish flu, right?
Yeah.
The first wave was like this. Second wave was like this.
Correct.
And then the third wave was like this. There was 3 waves of the Spanish flu.
Right.
And
so the next wave
the first one was
December.
the lowest.
What?
And the first wave was the lowest.
Right. So the next big wave could be November, December, when the flu season kicks in, and then the COVID season kicks in again.
Yeah.
Right. So do I think that my shows are going to be around in the fall? I don't know. So right now we're trying to figure out if we're going to be more virtual for the next year. We're looking for the best technology possible to create the best experience possible ahead of the competition. So that's what we're looking to do right now. It's something that we're highly focused on.
Yeah, part of me has been thinking that too, and I'm kind of at like an opportunity limit, right? Like there's just too much stuff coming at me right now to take advantage of everything. So one of the ideas I've been thinking about is putting together teams to take advantage of opportunities that are seen. Like for instance, that one. Literally, I have a platform that right now, if a team was to get on it and work on it, we could create that. Like the system is there. There's patented video conferencing technology. The idea is there. It just needs people that can work on it.
Right.
And right now, people have time, but they have to be opportunity cost time, right? It's not like it can be paid. When you do entrepreneurship, you're coming up with an idea, unless you raise money, which right now is tough too. But even that idea, I was able to raise money, but not millions of dollars to pay a bunch of staff, right? So that's kind of something I've been thinking about. And even this conference thing, man, I honestly believe this is what I would do. And this is one of the reasons, like, I've been thinking about you, is a company that does this should be the thing that invests in it, because they're investing in their future. Instead of, going to some VC, why not have an investment from a company that does this, that can benefit from it? If it works, it keeps his business going. You know what I mean? Instead of, hoping something comes along that meets the need that you can help. It's like Uber coming to cab companies and the cab companies being like, instead of saying the cab companies could have created Uber, and then they would have been in a much better position, right?
You're saying like something like Cisco WebEx, right?
Yeah.
Like Cisco investing in a company like mine, because the more I use their technology, the more money they make too, right? So
that's one. But I'm more meaning the opposite. You, as a company that puts on conferences, invest in creating, just like you guys created that app, right? Mm-hmm. You guys can create the next version of the conference and make it, and then not only you use it, everyone uses it, and you win.
So you're saying we create the exact platform that we feel is the rock star platform that we need, and then we can kind of like franchise that or resell that to other event companies that need to do it as well.
Who knows it better than you, right? It's like, at the end of the day, that's where we were like, and I told you about this. I was trying to, connect you with the company, because I was like, I'm not really in the industry. I know I've been to conferences, I speak at conferences, but I don't know the back end. You know what I mean? I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff. So I don't know what they really need. I know from a user's perspective, but that's where I see these opportunities, and that's where I see a huge miss a lot of times. Like I just brought up the Uber, right? So right now, there's a lot of companies that are going to miss this boat, and instead of taking the resources that they already have a lead with and using it to create the next version, they're waiting for someone else to figure it out, and that can kill them, right? Eventually, these companies, they're going to create this system, and then they can make their own conferences. And companies that do it are screwed because they have the brand, and they can make whatever they want and take out everybody. So to me, this is a big time. I feel like there's going to be so much stuff like that created in this time that's going to wipe out like a lot of companies. So part of me is like, I want to discuss it. I want to discuss it in public, and I want to see what comes. How can we create it? How can we be involved in creating it and just waiting for something to just come and just destroy everything, right? So I've been having the conversation with the Ireland one, because they wanted me to be in the Ireland conference called ARVR Innovate. So they've been talking to me about creating something online. So I've been like, all right, what if the thing I was doing, but what I'm looking at is how can I get multiple people involved, multiple entities, so it's not just one taking the risk. So that may be something I bring back to you. Is just right now I'm trying to do 3 things only at a time, because me, anybody who knows me, I work on 1,000 things, but I'm trying to really be specific to only 3 at a time. So that one was there, but I took it out for right now. But it might come back in once I finish one of my other things. So if you're interested, definitely we should have more conversation about it, because
definitely.
I think it's the future, man. I'm telling you, somebody's gonna figure it out. And me, I could build anything, but I just don't know what to build. You know what I'm saying? Like, what to build,
I like it.
Your industry.
I like it. Yeah, let's have that discussion afterwards.
Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. So last things. I like try to keep it around an hour. Anything else? Anything that pick my brain or that you've been thinking about right now in any industry, just business in general, anything. Just
business or just anything in general.
Anything.
One thing I've noticed that's really like, you got to look at the silver lining and everything, right? Like, this is a crisis, but the good thing that's coming out of it, I think, is more people are starting to realize how, how badly we've been polluting the planet. Look how clean the water is now. The oceans are getting cleaner. The rivers are getting cleaner. Air pollution is so much. There's so much less air pollution right now. There's if you go outside, because I run a lot. I run outside a lot. I've been doing a lot of running at where I live. There's a nice, beautiful. It's called Blue Mountain Reservation. Beautiful trails, mountain biking trails, and when I'm running, I just feel like the air is just crisper and cleaner. And I just hope that after this crisis, humanity, kind of like wakes up and goes, what? Wouldn't it be nice to just have Earth be cleaner most of the time?
So it comes back to what I was saying. If we can do this a week, a year, a week, a month, where we just stay home to fucking let the environment breathe.
I mean, Earth is healing itself right now.
No doubt.
We've been a cancer on this planet for the longest time. We're just polluting everything, and it's destroying the world. And now it's like, what if we did stop doing that? What if we ate less meat? What if we drove less cars? What if we drove more electric cars? What if we, didn't commute as much? If you commuted less and did more telecommuting, right? That's less pollution right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Why not have solar panels, and why not, figure it out that way that it's actually better for our environment and for us in the long run, So that's what I'm thinking about too, because there could be money in that too, That's another thing to get involved with it. If as a collective, humanity realizes that we need to just, pollute less, there's money in that too. Creating technologies and businesses around keeping things cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, like the solar power and all this like green industry is huge. It's huge, but there's nothing that we can invent that can do what we just did. Right? We stayed home for however much time, the whole world, and like you see it, like dolphins in fucking in the Venice
Venice,
Canal and all, right?
Yeah.
All this crazy stuff that you couldn't even imagine if this didn't happen, right? Like you really couldn't imagine. Oh no, there's no way everybody stays home. And even this, I really didn't think it would happen, you know. But we're capable of a lot of stuff, you know, as humanity. And right now we're putting a lot of that to the test. But who knows how long this stays? They're already talking about opening up Georgia. What do you think about that, man? Like what happens right now if they open back up New York?
It's funny. I had this conversation with my brother last night. You know, it's interesting because I'm from Guatemala, and I speak to my family in Guatemala. And a month ago, when they shut down Guatemala, the president said, "Okay, we're shutting down the airport. No one can fly in and out of Guatemala. You're only allowed to be out and about to go to like the supermarket and stuff like that from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., if anyone is caught outside, you're going to jail."
Jail.
Yeah, so they went strict right away for the entire country, and you know it's broken up in districts there. So if you're in one district, you're not allowed to travel to the other district. You can't. Okay. So it's legit. They did it the right way, and you know, and I think the problem with the United States is that we're not united. The problem is, you know, governors and mayors are kind of doing what they want to do on their own. Not all the states are not working collectively as they should. And so, you know, so if you have certain states that are doing it the right way, then you have other states that are opening up too soon. You know, that fucks it up for everybody because, okay, so you have certain states that are doing it the right way. They're doing it strategically. They're opening up slowly. And then you have Georgia or Tennessee or a few others that all of a sudden open up faster, and then they reinfect everyone because of it. Mm-hmm. You know, if we're allowing people to cross state lines, right? So, there's an issue with that, and it's going to create a situation where we're not going to get a hold of this sooner. It's going to be
it's going to drag it out.
We're not going to get a hold of it. Period. We just can't. Right?
Yeah, it's drag
it out, and I think it's sad to see that happen. That we're not as united as we should be. You know, we should be, and we should have done actually with the right plan, which would have been like back in February. Obviously, the administration fucked up. We all know that. You know, done like they did it in Guatemala. You get White House briefing in order to stop this. Everyone stays home. Nobody goes anywhere for a month. Everybody all across in every state. You're not allowed to leave your house after 4 p.m. You know, it's a very authoritarian way to do it. But we'd be out of this crisis.
Exactly. That's the part. It's so fucking dumb. Like if the fucking virus takes 14 days and then you're 14 days out in 1 month of staying home, which we've already done in New York. We did it. But now everybody else is fucking it up. And now it kind of puts what we did at risk. We just fucking did this for nothing, you know? Like,
it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous. So it's unfortunate. We're going to have to deal with it for much longer than we should have. And as far as the virus is concerned, you know, it's highly infectious. That's really the problem with it. I wouldn't say it's deadlier than the flu.
No, it's not.
It's just much more infectious. So the issue is that over the course of the next year, you know, we're going to probably see I'll predict 40% to 50% of the country gets the virus. So you're looking at about, you know, 150,
200 million. Yeah, almost.
And then at that point, if you look at, then, you know, you might have a couple 100,000 deaths in the next year because of it. Mm-hmm. But it's only because it's just much more infectious than anything else out there. It's not that it's super deadly. It's just super highly infectious because I could have it
and give it to a bunch of people,
but still walk around and give it to 40 people without realizing it. That's the problem with this virus.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen, like, I've had multiple friends childhood friends die already.
Really?
Yeah. And you know, and I just on my timeline, I don't have a huge timeline, but I've seen at least 50 people post rest in peace. You know, this is like serious. And I don't only have people in New York, right? So this is like crazy. And like this whole month thing is crazy to me. But I think we're in it. And as entrepreneurs and innovators, we're gonna have to figure out how to survive it and thrive in it, right? So to wait for government handout and all that. I don't think that's the way to go. I think we need to be figuring out opportunities and going for them. And I understand going for opportunity means money, means time, means access, right? Like I'm lucky enough to have a computer and internet. So I get it. Huh?
Fell off the truck. Back in the
Yeah. Not this one.
I saw that talk. That was a good talk.
Thank you. He's referring to my TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But
good plug.
It's gonna be thank you. There's gonna be just more of that maybe too, right? Like
you never know. You never know.
If anybody got falling off the truck computers, no.
I'll tell you one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about.
Yeah.
Is we're at, I think they're going to announce another wave of unemployment. What's the word? I'm so confused. Thursday, every week they announce
like the numbers, the unemployment numbers.
Yeah, unemployment numbers. It's every Thursday. Anyway, there's going to be another wave, probably another like 4 to 5 million unemployed. They announced unemployment this Thursday, so that brings us up to like 22 million or 25 million.
Yeah.
So the problem is that a lot of people are going to be out of work. You and I are blessed that we could actually work.
Do what we do here. Yep.
There's a lot of people that lost their jobs that can't do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen down the road when they start getting desperate?
I know.
People that are desperate do desperate things.
I know.
So over the next year, there's going to be a lot more crime, unfortunately.
I know.
People have to do things to survive, right? And that involves criminal activity.
Yeah, and just eating, right? Like to me, the government is so wrong for like bailing out businesses, but not bailing out people. Like you just gave trillions, but you could have put those trillions just to feed people.
Dude, they've been sending checks to dead people.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars going out to people that died 2, 3, 4 years ago already.
Oh my God.
It's like
that's crazy. This thing is it's just showing kind of the worst of us, but hopefully we get the best of us out of it. Like this happens every 100 years. The Spanish flu was like 100 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
So we can learn from it though. Like, but we're not. We're like not like looking at that and saying, what can we do that worked back then? And this was a different time. There was no planes and buses and cars. So this thing could spread a lot faster, quicker.
It's gonna change us for the better, I think. We have to sometimes suffer to find a little bit of enlightenment.
And most of the time they say the only real way to change is to suffer.
Maybe we're cocooning right now.
Hopefully
we come out a beautiful butterfly.
Haven't seen it yet. Look at those people protesting in Michigan, and getting sick. Like it's crazy. And then like the Jewish community in Brooklyn, they were out there, no, screw that. And now they're having an epidemic in their community. Yeah. It's like, how many things do you have to see? First China, then Italy, then and you see all that and you're like, oh, that's not gonna happen to us.
Well, that's Darwin, dude. That's Darwinism right there. Survival of the fittest.
1,000%.
I hate to tell you, if you're smart enough, you should stay in. If you're not smart enough, you're out there and
The problem is the smart people are gonna have to stay in longer because of the dumb people. That's the fucking truth of it all. Like people going out and keeping getting infected means we gotta stay in longer. So
what we have to do. I don't know.
So yeah,
they're opening up certain parts of Europe right now. We're watching that closely. I know that Italy's starting to open up a bit here and there. They're
not going to let people fly in. They're probably opening up and keeping themselves contained. They're not going to let more people come in.
Well, we're watching what's happening in Europe right now. So depending on, the reinfection rate over there, if we see that all of a sudden they start getting reinfected and they have to start closing stuff up again soon, then we're going in that direction as well.
Yep.
It's going to be like this for a while.
No, man. I know.
It's all good. Keep on connecting this way. Keep on doing these talks.
Yeah.
And if you want to have another one, let's do another one. And if you want to recommend anyone else that I think could add value here,
sure.
I have some people in mind that we can recommend.
Yeah. End of the day, I'm trying to talk to as many people as possible, different industries. I just want to, figure out what the opportunities are for people, not only me. Like in the beginning of the show, we gave people access to possible job opportunities, right? That's kind of what I want to do. I want to give opportunity. I want to figure out, industry stuff. And go from there. Thank you for coming on. We always talk. It was super cool. And it was cool to have everybody meet you that I know now. And you can reach out to Rob. Any way that they should be looking out, get in touch with you?
I mean, if you want to email me, it's Rob.
I'll put your email in the description.
Yeah.
Actually, not in the description because that could be hacked. That could be scraped. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now, real quick.
Yeah, just email me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. If you have questions about the events business, you want to pick my brain about anything, I'm pretty well versed in a lot of different industries. I've done a lot of work in I've done a lot of different kinds of things. I'm kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. So I'm always open to giving people advice and helping anybody that I can out, and more so, Miguel, it's good that you keep on having more Latino entrepreneurs,
Yeah, of course. I'm trying. I got a bunch scheduled.
Good.
So that's what's cool about this, man. Like, I got weeks. So cool, man. Good catching up, like always, and I'll be in touch about that conference thing. We're gonna figure that out.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I'm down.
All right, Rob. Stay safe. Thank you.
You too. Stay healthy, brother.
Same.
All right. Bye-bye.